welcome back to Ronk's Fishing Shack Chats. We're happy that you're back, and we do this a couple times a month, so please keep coming back. Today we're going to talk about the distinctions between businesses and schools in particular, and churches, because while there's some similarities going on, we also want to kind of discuss what makes them different and why a plan for a business isn't going to work for a school. So help me out, boss.
I think the biggest difference between a business and a school is businesses are, for the most part, dealing with adults. Mm-hmm. And whereas and with a business, especially in like an active shooter event, or when they have an emergency that they need to take care of, mm-hmm. they're dealing with themselves, and for the most part. Mm-hmm. Whereas now when you go to a school, ooh. Now you have a teacher whose responsibility is 10, 20, 25 students in their classroom. So it's not an individual thing. She's responsible for the students in her class. And it could be first graders, second graders, even 9th or 10th grade if right. It's a high school. So that's probably the biggest difference, right. Is they have to now deal. And though, you know, they talk about escape, evade, counter, those are options. Right. But the thing with those options is you have to realize that each situation is going to be different. You right. can't just say I'm always going to escape or I'm always going to evade, because the difference could be the situation itself. Even if it's the same building, it could be the difference in buildings, difference in facility, whether it is a church or school. And right. even if you're talking about schools, it could be the difference of where that school is located even. Right. So that's why it's important that each individual facility or building or business has their own plan that they use. They can't just go off of a blanket plan, because a lot of things are going to be different.
Yeah, because you talked about escape, evade, and counter, and that would be something great in a business where an individual adult is responsible for getting themselves out. They have those options. Right. But at a school where, like we've talked about, you know, a teacher's trying to herd a bunch of second graders, if you have 3 classrooms of second graders, you don't want them all trying to get out in 3 to 5 seconds. So, you know, they do have to have that different plan.
It would be more difficult. We don't want to say that
it's impossible.
Yeah, they don't ever want to do escape. There
right.
may be an option where escape is an option for yes. them, just not saying it's going to be much more. It's going to be much more difficult for the teacher, and there's a lot of other things that need to be taken into consideration. We don't ever want to rule out, you know, you have to always escape, right. you have to always evade, mm-hmm. you know, something like that.
But for the most part, they do have similarities. So do you want to touch on some of the similarities?
They do, sure. Some of the similarities, probably schools and churches are very similar in that a lot of churches now have preschool that they do during the week. They have nurseries that they do like on Sunday during worship service. So when you're doing that, then the preschool part of the church is going to have a lot of the similarities to the school.
Right.
And mm-hmm. kind of going back to when you're dealing with a church that does have a preschool, mm-hmm. they're going to need, they even have 2 different things right within their facility, because they have the church on Sunday, which they're dealing with a lot of adults, the worshipers, but they have the preschool Monday through Friday. So you're going to have 2 different
thought processes
for that as well. So it's a lot of very individual, you know, not only do we have to have our own because we're our own building, but we now have different things going on within our facility that right. we have to think about, that we can't just blanket with one plan either. You have to take every situation into account.
Oh, cool. All right. Thanks, boss. Appreciate the input. And thanks for joining us at our Fishing Shack Chats, and we hope to see you next time. And if you have any questions, please contact us at info@ronksecurity.com. Have a great day.
See you next time.